Hi everyone, welcome again to Love and Matters. It gives us joy to know you are always there supporting our channel. Thanks again and God bless you greatly. We started a series on principle of successful marriage, and today we are bringing you the fourth episode tagged the strange and true advice in marriage. We're in a world where so many things influence us and influence our decisions as well. So it is very important for us to know what we take into our home. And so today we are going to be doing justice to that in a way that it will be a blessing into our home and not a curse. So before we start, let me quickly share a story with us. There's this businessman who had a very flourishing business, and suddenly something started happening and the business started going down. As usual, when he has issues like that, he visits his prophet. After a short prayer, the prophet made him to understand that the wife has familiar spirit. You understand? And he has to divorce the wife. And this is a family that has been doing great and fine, before something happened. Then this man accepted this information and started working on it. They were at the edge of breaking up when he was able to get someone else to bring him to the understanding that what you are going through has nothing to do with your wife. The question is, should we say it is wrong for him to have taken advice from someone he considers a spiritual leader? Or should we say it's wrong to even take advice at all? These are the things we'll be talking about in this episode.
Oh yes, thank you everyone, and welcome once again. Sincerely, I wonder the kind of people we have nowadays. For him to have even advised him to divorce his wife. For what? This is the wife they've been together when the business was fine. So all of a sudden, the woman who has been with him has kids with him. We now think, yes, it's time to, at least, yes, we're not saying things like that are happening in the world, but it needs great processing. And that will bring me to first establishing what advice is, because many of us will have been taking advice like maybe it's a big word.
It's a special thing.
Is that no? It doesn't come in any special way, or it's not a special thing. For the purpose of this video, I would say that advice is any information that can influence your decision.
Yes.
Like what you can base your decision on. Any information that influences your decision is advice. It could be through a random discussion, could be what you see on social media or what you hear from people. It could be your past experience, mentality, tradition or culture. It could be your religion, world norms. Even your personality, like this is me, and someone like me, this is how I get to do my things. So it could be even you advising yourself. And you can advise yourself wrongly.
Of course, definitely.
You can advise yourself wrongly. So it is important for us to know that this information as well, maybe probably through the means we get them from, they can be influenced by God, by devil, by man, which you are inclusive in the man. So yes, you could have heard it from social media, you could have heard it from your friend, could have been from a random discussion, but someone could have influenced it. There have been an influence from God or the devil
or man himself.
Which even the man can still be traced back to, be it from God or devil. So everything depends on who you submit to.
That kind of thing. And seriously, that is just it. Who you submit to, who influence your life, who directs your life, and who you base your beliefs on. And that is very important for us to know that we are the one who bears the brunt of whatever decisions we make. And that is why it is important for us to checkmate advice very well before absorbing them. People absorb a lot of things on the social media these days without checking the source of the information, where it's coming from, who is driving them. We just see it online, we see comments online, we see discussions online, and people take it like, oh, that was the final thing. And I want you to know that sometimes it affects your relative, it affects those around you. You understand what I'm saying? It affects those around you as well. Look at what happened in Genesis chapter 3. Devil only advised Eve. Eve, look at this fruit. When you eat it, you'll be wise and all of that. You'll be like God. And it's an advice. It's a suggestion. And if picked it because of our own desire, the devil has been condemned from the beginning and is the father of all lies. But he was able to manipulate their thoughts. And this is the way we all have been manipulated. So anybody can be manipulated in form of giving advice or taking advice. And that is why whatever you are taking in must be based on God. You must be able to take it back to God.
Actually, when you were sharing the story, and it brought me to Moses and his father-in-law, I actually want to share the story when you said that when advice is given, you should checkmate it. Moses and the father-in-law advised him, and he told him that he should pray to God before he carries out the advice.
That is after giving him the advice.
Yes, after giving him the advice,
he's still asking to seek God
God's
to establish.
So, which means that no matter the position of who is advising you, or how much you reference the person, you should still do what? Seek God. God has the final say, and that is even established in the Bible. Seek God's face first. And before adoption, there are things that are expected of us to do. You need to check the advice. Is it in line with the standard I've set for my home? Someone advising you that your wife is a problem. As you are going, just get a nice knife and kill her. The first thing you think of is, what standard have you set for yourself as regards your family? I see my wife as me. I see my husband as me. So you advising me to kill my partner is like saying kill yourself. Also you need to check if that thing is in line with God's standard. The Bible says, thou shalt not kill. So there are many things you can. So when somebody is giving you advice, you process it. Is it in line with the standard I've set for my life? Is it with the standard I've set for my family? Is it in line with God's standard? And also, who is advising me?
Like seriously, that aspect is very important. You talk about forms of advice the other time.
Yes.
You were talking about where we tap our advice from.
Yes.
It could be from a random discussion. And for instance, I do engage in discussion with some of my friends. And this thing is very common. We say it a lot, even among the guys. Like, we can't just be eating one type of meal, That is the kind of justification some men, give to adultery. The kind of, we can't just be eating, we can't just be taking ogbono soup now. We need to change, we need to have varieties. We need to have bitter leaf soup. We need to have
white
vegetable soup and all of that. A kind of justification which affects our mentality, which process us into accepting wrong advice or indoctrination, information, which we start acting on. They absorbed it and they start walking by it. The devil used that information to direct or to guide their decisions sometimes.
Just like what you said, like random discussion. This was picked from social media. People, we tend to just place our celebrities more than what not the level we should actually place them. They are good. They've been making the society more fun and all that. Yes, but we need to process whatever they say and do as well. There's a particular lady. She said women should be lavished with the best things of life, and in return you can just give a man. In fact, don't buy it. Go to the field and cut flowers and just give him.
That's our own mentality. That's what she sees, man.
That's us. And immediately within the comments, I saw people saying, "Oh yes, that's true. Men don't need it. Just go to the field, cut flowers." In fact, I support. I was so angry. Like,
actually, there are so many ideologies that are flowing out there now.
Yes.
That we just need to understand that many are driven by the devil. The home is one of the most important, if not the most important thing in the society. And the devil has been attacking home severally. It comes to you to understand that when it comes to advice, it all comes down on you, your decision, what you actually want for yourself.
Yes.
Best of the best, it should be in line with God's standard.
And when you say it's all about yourself, that means even you, there's a level of standard that is expected of you to have set for your life.
For your life.
There's something called identity. You need to, set your own values and define who you are and the kingdom you belong to. There are things you will know that this is not me and it does not befit the kingdom. I declare that I identify with. Thank you. It does not define the kingdom I identify with. So this, I am not taking it. You have the final say. We are not saying it is wrong. Your advice could be positive. It could be negative. That is why you need to check it, know where it's coming from. Check the spirit behind it. And the only way you can know the source is to pray to God.
And that means you yourself have to have a standard with God.
Yes,
you have to know God
relationship,
yourself before. As a matter of fact, marriage is based on God's standard. So that means you need God to be able to run your marriage successfully.
Yes.
So the advice you take in, the advice you digest, through whatever, or the information you pick or you digest, through whatever means, can affect you, can affect those around you, can affect a lot of things. So that's why we need to be very, very careful. Whoever is advising you, it is just important that you are careful. Break it down. Set it on the standard of God. There are some things that people apply in their marriages that when you do apply it, it might be a problem. And
we are two different people.
We are two different people. And that is why you need to understand, we just need to understand this, that whatever someone applies, and it's good for that person, that might not be a standard for you. For instance, there are families where the husband says it satisfies the ego for their wife not to know what they earn. No, my wife shouldn't know how much I earn. That is how I'm able to, as a man, that is how we do in our family, tradition. That is how we do in our family. Wife don't know how much their husband earn. And that is what we use as the husband over the wife. And he might be doing that, And
it's working for him.
And it's working for him. But it might not work for you.
And also we need to understand this, that only you knows the problem you are going through.
Exactly.
So whichever advice you are getting, only you will know if truly this thing has addressed the problem you are going through.
And you are prepared for the final
the consequences it might bring, either good or bad. Be sure of yourself that this is my decision. Whoever has given you the information. But something even dropped in my mind now. Like, the truth is, whatever it is that thing is, the first level of advice always starts with you.
That kind of thing.
To an extent, you'll have a rough sketch of how you want
the whole thing to go.
The whole thing to go. But you are just looking for
a kind of confirmation.
Like, okay, let me seek someone, and so that is the place where the final how will I put it? The final say comes from. Is either that person's advice aligns with what the sketch you have on your mind, or it totally discards the sketch you have within you, and then you go for it. So whichever one you go for, it could be good
and it could be bad.
It turned out to be bad. So that is what we are trying to say, that advice could be good and could be bad. Still doesn't mean you shouldn't take advice. No man is an island of knowledge. We all need to take advice, and it could come from any form. Doesn't mean that you visit almost everybody around you to take advice. Information can come in from anywhere. It could be probably you are listening to a message.
It could be a discussion on radio.
Yes, it could be probably you are listening to a program.
That kind of thing.
So let's just be careful and be able to know if this is a strange advice or a good one. And the only way you can get to know is to seek God.
That is just the base.
Sincerely, marriage is an institution between a man, like a covenant between a man and a woman, and God in between them, who is the pillar and the source of their marriage. And that's what has been working for us in our family. God has been the standard, and we already even have a design standard for how we want our family to run. So whatever it is you tell us that is not in line with the standard we set for our family, our sorry God will not take it. Yes.
The standard of God for our
And
life.
God, we based it on God's principle to set standard for our family.
You know, this is not self-wisdom. This
It's
is
not self-wisdom.
This is
still God.
basing things on God, because there are a lot of things that are flowing into marriage
yes.
these days. A lot of advice, we've seen where people advise husband to divorce the wife, like the one I shared at the beginning of the story, and then prepare another woman to take over the position of the wife that he divorced. So a lot of things, and it's so funny that
their partner their partner is a piece of paper,
and
like you can just throw.
And it's funny that some of these things come from where you least expect it to come from. The devil can use anybody. The devil, if the devil could tempt Jesus, could suggest things to Jesus, it was all suggestion.
Just imagine.
It was an information. Oh, man, you are hungry. This is your problem. You are hungry as you are.
I'll give you food.
Turn this stone to food and eat. And Jesus was like, this is not in line with the word of God. I rather follow what God is saying and just do things that I really need
at the moment.
At the moment. You know, look at this beautiful world. If you can bow to me, I will give them to you. You know, you realize that the devil tests with our desires.
Yeah.
The devil tempts us with our needs. And this temptation doesn't just...
And it's not like probably you see someone with two arms,
someone
looking so scary.
It's not that the devil is just there like, Mr. Man, come, do this, do that.
It's just dropping. Like someone that said that just go to the field and pick flowers for your husband. That's the only thing they ever deserve. Wow.
We've seen people...
I don't know what to say. It's just... Wow.
We've seen a situation where a certain celebrities online will be telling you men are useless, men are this, men are that. Oh, there is no. Why should you have men in your life?
Before the man became useless.
Before the man
had a home.
She had a home, and now she is coming on the social media to tell the followers that why should you have a man in your life? I can never bow to a man. She never go back to the source of the problem, because she once had a man. She had children. You know, she was once married, and now that she's like marriage is calm and all of that. That you have a problem in your marriage.
Doesn't mean everybody should have a problem.
Should have the same problem. And it's so funny that people don't really analyze their problem.
They'll just adopt it.
They'll just put their aggression out there. And people just absorb it without processing it, without looking at a lot of things.
Without even getting to know why they are like that.
Why they are like that.
And even when you get to know why they are like that, doesn't mean your man will be like that. Doesn't mean
all
your wife will be like
all
that.
Men are
or
strong.
Doesn't mean your children will be
all
like that.
Women.
You'll have heard people say, once children get to this age, they are this, they are that. No, say that to yourself.
To yourself.
Because our own Bible says, our children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be their peace. So whatever it is you hear people say outside, you base it on what God has said and hold on to it.
And we're not basing it on what God said. It's actually where the problem is coming from. Like seriously, that is why the society keep going bad and bad, because we just agree to whatever is being said. Oh, men cannot do without cheating. We agree to it. It's an information from the pit of hell. We agree to it. Oh, men cannot do without side chick. We agree to it.
And the first level is agreement. And
the moment you agree with it, like, well, as long as my husband doesn't bring the woman home, well, I can manage. You have agreed to it.
And eventually brings the woman home.
That is the strength of the devil. Just for you accepting it into the society, it's enough to manipulate the society. You know, and things like that happens. There are all kinds of advice, and that is why we are saying in this episode that try as much as possible not to just allow any information to get into your marriage. Sieve them. Set standard for your marriage and make sure you have guiding principle based on God. This will be like a defense system that will block off unnecessary information in your life.
I love that.
Whoever is given the information, it blocks it off. Like, no, this is not the standard of God for our life. This is how we want our life to go in God's way. And that is just the best thing.
Yeah.
We believe is the best thing.
Yes.
To have a successful home.
And it boils down to you having a good relationship with God.
with God.
And we would like to advise you today, please, if you are yet to know him and then to be convinced that truly you know God, please do so today. Do so this moment.
Establish a relationship with God.
And it starts from you giving your life to Christ.
And God will surely help you.
Always.
We believe you enjoyed this episode. And we pray that the Lord ministers it to your heart.
Amen.
Even more than the way we are able to deal with it. Thank you again for joining us. Please don't forget to like, share, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.
Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, help us share on your social media platforms, and tell your people to please subscribe and watch it. And let us continue to be blessing to our society. Love you guys.